Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I am your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Hello.
We are here. This is episode 39 of season 2 of the Reality Guys, and we are here to cover the season finale of the challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. So this was season 37 of the challenge. Overall, Brian, before we get into anything, just overall thoughts quickly on the season as a whole.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't like the greatest season, but it was still good. Like, I'm happy with the people. We got a bunch of new people that I think will be good sticking points, and I think that's kind of where the show they need some reinforcements, and I think they got that this time around.
I agree. I definitely concur. I think there's definitely a lot of cast members that are going to be long stay like cast members. I also did like they did do some things from, if you saw the finale of last season of the challenge, one of my big complaints was things about like the golden skulls and all that kind of crap. They got rid of all that ticket to entry stuff. I didn't like. I did like that they did do a lot of mix ups. I like the idea of being able to steal partners and things like that. So I do hope that some of those elements, and there was one purge. I hope we get multiple purges next season. The one thing that I hated, and it was probably really one of my only complaints about this final episode, it's just the theming. I've talked about this before. I'm just not big on the spy theme and the agent theme and the stuff they've been doing the last 3 seasons as that trilogy. All good. You finished it out. I'm really hoping that we get a redo of a classic, whether it's like Battle of the X's or Rivals. They have enough people that hate each other now. I think they could probably do a Rivals or even an Inferno or a Gauntlet. Like, how do you feel about that?
No, I agree. And I even think, like, when you mean a theme, like, I think it should be something based on the people who are participating, not like, don't make themes about what the challenges are. I just think it's
exactly.
Like, I like your idea. Like, the Rivals is a good idea. I think, like, it's been a while. There's starting to be some new like beefs forming and something like that, or like vets. Like, I guess I wasn't say vets versus rookies, but that's like the last thing I want to see. But bring some rookies in or new younger people that have some beef, maybe with some old people that haven't been on in a while or something like that.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree overall with the sentiment, even with the other season of the challenge. We're covering currently All-Star season 2. Everything's about the beefs. Everything's about the relationships. There's only so many different goofy eliminations and puzzles, and we see so many iterations. We're seeing this in the challenge. We're seeing it in Survivor, where even some of the puzzles, people know what the puzzles are as soon as they see it. So, I mean, there's got to be a focus, again, like you said, on the interpersonal. It's almost like get camp life back in the challenge a little bit. And I think we got that. Like we said, we had some people kicked off this season. You said there's definitely been some people, again, like we'll talk about Nelson and people like Devin and people that are knocking on the door. And, so there's still a lot of those storylines. Overall, though, like I said, I think the season was okay. I just want to see us go back to form. So let's get into the actual nitty gritty of this final, their second half of the final. We started with checkpoint 4. This was a kind of a classic kind of physical and puzzle. Take the chain, unravel it from the safe box area that it's in. You then can go dive in the water, go down like a chain. There's a bunch of symbols on some boards where you have to get the symbols. And then you have to get off of the water and run up the hill. And the symbols are the combination for the lock. That's essentially it, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. The big notes I have here, which we've kind of already talked about, the no life jacket really spells a difference for Nelson. I'm sorry, but it's just like we'll talk about a little bit later with Devin and the running endurance. Like, you got to learn how to swim better, man. I get it. It's not everybody's thing, but like, you could even go like 20 yards and you were literally getting a lifeguard, and it definitely cost your team some time. And those are the types of things that, you may not be able to make yourself really better at puzzles, or you may not be able to make yourself another 100 pounds to be able to beat some guys in a hall brawl or a lifting thing. But like, you can go run, you can swim. And that is what I don't understand about some of these vets. I mean, Nelson's done a bunch of seasons, dude. Like, if at first he couldn't swim at all, now he can swim a tiny bit, but it's just a real error in judgment, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's signing up for. Like, I thought for a second that was like they accidentally spliced in a segment of last season's All-Stars. on that one that first challenge where
Mhm.
people couldn't swim and they were too cold.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you got to know what you're doing. The final, like, you should know what you're signing up for. Like, you should be able to run a little bit. You should be able to swim a little bit.
I like Devin's, like he was doing his confession when he's like, listen, I didn't eat or drink anything today. Why?
Right.
The day of the final. What are you talking about, dude? Like, why are you
Yeah.
mad at them for that? What are you talking about?
Yeah, not good strategy there.
That was the bold move. It wasn't working out super well. So checkpoint 4 rolls into checkpoint 5. Checkpoint 5, if we talk about the theming, you have to retrieve a key on a pole to unlock the cell for your torpedo, which is a big giant torpedo missile that you have to carry, like team carry up a hill. So this is where Orange actually takes their first lead. It's because Devin is literally dying. It's just it's kind of a theme.
The girls are like, this was my fear of his, that like why he didn't really have a chance here, because he has no endurance or strength.
It's a deadly combination not to have on a final. No strength and no endurance.
In a physically competitive game show.
I mean, he's literally like Rain Man, but he needs to physically be carried.
Yeah, 100%.
The puzzle that they get to, and this is where this was epic meltdown here for our friends in Orange. It was basically a bunch of squares, and you were only allowed to move 3 torpedoes, and you had to take those torpedoes that were available to make 3 complete squares. Nelson argues with them for a while that a square is a rectangle. I'm not going to lie. I started to think that a little bit. I'm like, is he a genius? But he's not. Turns out it wasn't that. And they sit there, and I would love to know how long they were trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wish I knew what the lead was. Like, that's my only beef for this.
Was it a minute? Was it 10 minutes? Like, right. They seem pretty pissed. So, like, I say at least 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I can't see it being longer than like 7 or 8.
It didn't seem like the distances were that crazy long in this challenge in general. So obviously Purple with CT, they run right in, and CT solves a puzzle in like 20 seconds. Does Brian's favorite veteran move, which is destroys the puzzle instantly.
Love it.
Because they literally tried to steal it 5 seconds later.
Dude, he just like, I thought those things were heavy, but maybe it was just the one you're carrying. He was just like
whoop whoop.
Out of the way. I love it. I love the destruction of puzzles.
I think they were like PVC pipes. Yeah. Checkpoint number 6 is where they got to the big cage ball, and it has your supplies for an overnight, which was a nice surprise for me because I thought, like we said in the last episode, it was only going to be a 1-day challenge. So I was like happy to see that it was at least going to have some kind of overnight portion. No overnight challenge. But what was really funny, and Purple was already ahead. They had a pretty comfortable lead, but Orange sealed their fate because Nelson pushed their ball down the mountain.
Yeah, I mean,
he just does dumb moves at least once a season that cost them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stuck in the tree.
I kind of feel like this would have been better if there was an overnight form of like punishment. Like that one they had last season, I thought was pretty good.
No, it was definitely better. I just think COVID changed some of those things. I think they just don't want to physically abuse the hell out of people, basically.
That's a good point. But man, I thought last season's overnight was really cool.
Well, they said this applies for camp. Like I thought like it was going to be like you got up there, maybe you had to build something, and if you built your puzzle first, you got at camp and the other people got garbage. But what turned out was obviously it was just who would get there first, because we got a purge. We got a purge in the morning. So the 2 male members and 2 female members of this is classic. I'm laughing because this is just such a perfect thing. Of the losing team, Orange have to face off against each other in backed up. The reason I'm laughing is because Casey and Nani have to go up against each other. Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. I just felt like.
Well, because you knew that she had no shot regardless.
Yeah, if they didn't like each other, she still had no chance.
Nani's face, like,
yeah,
of course. She just never can get to the end, like so close. And now her girlfriend has to knock her out. So like I said, back me up is where you're tied back to back with your opponents, and you have to pull them or push them off your side. So like we said, Casey and Nani was a non-starter. I actually wrote Casey defeats Nani before the challenge started. It just
Too
was
much, yeah.
it. No, I mean, I knew it was an inevitability. I was like, I'll
Yeah.
cross it
Oh
out
yeah,
if I
yeah. Oh my
really
God.
have to.
It's funny that that was the last elimination challenge, and that was the first one of the season.
I like time is a circle, Brian.
Yeah, I thought because I think that's a cool challenge.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
So it means obviously it was Nelson and Kyle. And man, I just got to give it to Kyle, dude. Kyle does really well in eliminations. Like he really does. Like that's what it's probably fourth one this year. He's won.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do an impression of him, but when he's like, I dig deep and I
child.
picture my little girl, and it's like,
So what you're saying is a baby is more important than a nail salon.
yeah, I guess.
As far as motivation goes, at least.
He got some killer sunburn too.
Oh my God.
In
Yeah.
his confessional.
He was probably like during the challenge, if they got to get face to face at all, was getting the sun off of his teeth right into Nelson's eyes.
Like one of those like things.
The tanning shield.
Tanning shield.
Whatever that is. Yeah. So yeah, that's obviously the end of them. Oh, yeah, no, just relax. Freaking dog. He's trying to be famous.
He's trying to crack the safe.
So obviously, with the 6 remaining agents, they have a twist where Casey and Kyle get to pick partners. They decide not to partner with each other. So Kyle picks Tori, Casey picks Uncle CT, and Devin and Emmy end up together. I think off the bat, we kind of saw CT and Casey as a monster team.
Oh, as soon as I saw it, like they're winning. I don't know. I don't care what it is. It's a dub.
So it's just the final leg. So they got off checkpoints and then they moved to legs. I thought that was a little bit of inconsistency on TJ's part. I'm just trying to keep you honest, bud. I know after 37 seasons, sometimes the details can, get a little blurry in the agent world.
He's doing too many shows, man.
Too many shows. A race to the top, Bri, a classic race to the top of a mountain where looks like there's like a 12-digit code, 10 to 12-digit code.
20.
There's a freaking ton of numbers.
There's a lot of numbers, and Devin knew it, which is also crazy.
Devin memorized the entire amount. It's a lot, people. Whatever the amount was more than I would have definitely been able to do.
Yeah, good editing too. I love when he was rattling it off, and they did like the Rain Man.
Yeah, they had like the equations popping out of his head. Beautiful mind.
Yeah.
So you had to run up, and then you had to run back down to the bottom, and there were 3 vaults. If you put in your digital code correctly, it opened up the vault, which had a Chaos Emerald in it, or what do they call it, Brian?
In the show?
Yeah, what did they actually call it?
They called it like a black ruby, right?
$1 million black diamond blood money insert, whatever goofy. If you played Sonic, it looks like a Chaos Emerald.
They should have. This is the time they should have had that stuff with the fake $1 million to really show how much money you would have won. That's what they should have done.
There should have just been money in there, or there could have just been a finish. I just there's something about it that you get to the very end of the season, and that's how you're gonna win or lose is off a straight 10-digit, 20-digit memorization code.
I agree. I thought that was kind of not as cool as I thought it was going to be.
No, it didn't. But again, overall, I enjoyed that final challenge itself. I thought it was a little bit more traditional. I think it could have been a little more difficult with some of the things. We had some criticisms, mainly of the first week with like the helicopter stuff and not spacing out people being in first, second, third, etc. The one twist was that with the $1 million pot, CT and Casey got to decide how to divvy up second and third. So they decided to do 800 grand for themselves and 100 each for second and third. How do you feel about how fair it was?
I may have like tiered like maybe a little more towards second. I wouldn't have given any more than. I'm surprised they gave him as much, to be honest.
I thought that was cool. You got $1 million to split. You took 80-20 for like you versus the other 2. I didn't think they were giving him any more than that either, though.
Yeah, no, I would have been kind of like dumbfounded if they did. I might have just given maybe second a little more than third to like have
tier it to do a fair tier.
It's fine with me. I mean, CT won. That's all I wanted. All I care about.
That's all we
So
wanted. That's all we wanted. And congrats to
feels good.
Casey. Her first chance. She deserves a ring. Like that
Yeah.
validates her too. Obviously, she didn't really need it in our eyes, but I think it's just sets her up for life as far as the challenge. She gets to be
Yeah.
on as much as
And
she wants.
you know what's awesome about it too, man? It's we got Amber B last year, Big Brother winning. We got Casey, and we have
First time winners.
Josh or Fessy in sight, and it makes me really happy.
First time winners. We like that. We like the more people that, and that kind of changes that dynamic of other people being able to get ganged up on. Those people aren't rookies. They're not young players. Now, if you've won, you're not going to get buckled in. It's nice to see, unless some rookie gets real ballsy and calls out someone like that. Those are people we can kind of count on to be on 3-4 episodes every season at least, which is cool because that's how we build up our like relationships as viewers with them. So
Right. And
I
shout out
think
to
it's really
Emmy
cool.
for doing really well this season.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I mean, overall, those are our thoughts on this season. We do know that I've seen in the news they're filming right around the new year, so probably expect a challenge. Apparently, Brian, I saw this said 3 months it took to film this past season.
Wow. That's a
So
long
maybe
time.
I'm assuming that has to do with like quarantines and stuff like that too. I'm assuming. I think someone even had to get quarantined right at the beginning of the filming of the season, which delayed them a little while. Like someone tested
Wasn't,
positive like 2 days
yeah,
in or
wasn't
something.
it the German guy?
Yeah, like somebody or a girl or somebody, yeah, tested positive like
What was his
2 days
name?
in.
He got a DQ by injury again this year.
Yeah, he's crazy. So like they had to delay. So again, I think we'll see it probably, if I already guessed, probably late spring, early summer for the challenge, which all good. We have plenty of other content. To see that other content, please like and subscribe to Reality Guys. We cover everything, including The Bachelor, Survivor, which our next episode, which will be episode 40, will be our review of the finale of season 41 of Survivor. We'll also, like I said, have coverage of other types of shows. Real Housewives, we have a review of the Ultimate Girls Trip, which was basically like the Avengers season of the Housewives. A full season review. We'll review season 2 of that. Plenty of other things to come. But for myself, Brian, Kevin, peace.